Hey, this is a quick vlog update on Edgewater Bookstore. So I am in the printing space right now, and I am currently trying to figure out how to make my custom notebooks for you guys so that you can take book notes when you're reading. Right now I'm working on the general notebook. This is a book that you can get for anything you're reading. And then for books specific to Edgewater that are going to be in my curated list, I will be making custom notebooks for those with specific guided questions and quotes and things. But right now, guys, I am having a hard time trying to figure out how to print and design and make booklets. This is a very complicated thing. I feel like you need a PhD in just sort of print management. I am shocked at how difficult this is. Anyway, right now what I'm doing is sort of cutting up my pages. My layout spread is an 8-inch by 6-inch piece of paper. So I'm cutting those out, trying to get the print settings right. So this video is going to be an adventure in creating the final notebook that you'll be using when you take your book notes. Okay, so here's one of the reasons why this is tricky in making notebooks. So I want to show you, first of all, this is version 1 of the notebook that I'm creating for you guys. It's a little 3x5 sort of prototype. I had to lay it out and figure out how all of the pages would work together. See, when you print something from your computer to a normal printer, you don't have to think about how the pages line up with each other and how all of it sort of lays out. But with a booklet, you do. And so I had to learn Adobe InDesign. I had to learn sort of printer settings. It's been a lot of work. Anyway, then I went to version 2.0 of the prototype. It's this giant thing. This is not what it will look like. So stay tuned through the end of the video to see the final printed notebook. But this, let me just show you really quickly how ugly this is, but why I did it. Okay, so I printed everything on normal printer paper here just to see what it would look like. So I've got a bunch of blank pages in here right now, but we'll have the cover where you'll be able to write the name of the book. You'll be able to write the title of the book, the author, why you're reading it, and so on. Again, this is just a prototype. Stay tuned to see the final one. I've got some instructions here on how to use the book, which I'll walk you through later, a table of contents, and so on. But this is the big nasty version. So that's version 1.0 right there, little 3x5. This is version 2.0. And right now we're printing out the current version. And I also have to time how long it is taking to print, because I'm going to have to be making hundreds of these, hopefully hundreds. Hopefully you guys like this. And I need to know how long it takes to print an entire booklet. Okay, I'll be back. Also, while this is printing, got another update for you. So you can see up here, this is going to be where I'm keeping the curated books that I'll be selling on Edgewater. I got my first order of books in. This is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I'm really excited for having these on the site. You have to order 25 as a small bookstore in order to get the price discount that makes sense for selling books. So I've got 25 of these, but there are only 13 here. There are 12 more on my table right here, and all of these got damaged. So amazingly, I contacted my supplier and they sent me 12 brand new ones. So now those are coming in the mail. Now I've got all these and I got to figure out what to do with them. I think I'm going to create a section on my website that allows you guys to purchase a damaged copy for a cheaper price, if that interests you, because I don't want to throw them away. I don't want to recycle them. I'd love to get them in your hands. But the cover, I don't know if you can see this, the cover is just a little beat up, banged up, right? It's not a new book anymore. So let me know your thoughts. What should I do with these? Should I offer sort of a second sort of damaged option? I think that works. Okay, the printing for this notebook took 24 minutes, which is completely unacceptable. Oddly enough, I had tried to set the highest print quality so that it would look as nice as possible for you guys, and it went from like a 6-minute print to a 24-minute print, and I can't tell the difference. So we're going to go back to the standard quality so that I can print these out faster. Anyway, here is the cover of this thing. This is the size of it. Now so here's Meditations book. Here's a nice thing. That'll give you kind of a sense of how big it is. This should fit in your, maybe not quite your pocket, but definitely in a purse or easily in a backpack. You can slide it in your book if you wanted to and have it there. It's not meant to be a gigantic notebook. I wanted it to be more of a companion as you read. But I love it. So here's the reading notes for, and you'll write the name of your book that you're reading. On the inside, you'll write your study guide here, the title, the author, the publisher information. And I've given you a paragraph to write why you're reading whatever book you're reading. I think it's really important that you connect with the purpose of the book versus, I needed something to read. That initial question gets your brain set for really getting the most out of the book. The back cover has a place for you to write the 5 main lessons that you got from the book. You can just fill that out. This will be nice because at the end of a book, you can keep all of these notebooks here, on your bookshelf or somewhere else. And if you think, you know what, I read book XYZ, I don't know, I read Catcher in the Rye, or I read, whatever, any book, and you want to go back and you want to remember why you read it or what you got out of it, you can just turn to the last page here and see that. Now, here are all of the interior pages of the notebook that I printed off. This was the hard part because I had to get all of these to line up. So now what I have to do is put these into here, bind it, fold it over, trim the edges, and we'll have a final notebook. Let's do that now. All right, new day. This box came, and this is the giant industrial paper cutter. This is supposed to be able to cut 1.5 inches of paper thickness, a lot, so that I can make these books for you. Now remember, this is the problem I have, is that the pages are not lining up. They need to be perfectly flush on the edges and beautiful so that I can round the corners and everything. So I needed a big paper cutter to do that. Let's open it up and see what's inside. This thing is really intense, but this is going to be great because I'm going to be making a lot of notebooks for you guys. Again, custom notebooks for every one of the books that I sell. So I needed something that would be big, heavy duty. This is it. Woo! This thing weighs a lot. So that puts a staple in the binding here and allows me to now fold it up. So the edges are now perfect. That took way too long. If I'm going to be making a bunch of these, I have to figure out how to replicate that, but I will do that. I'm an accountant by nature, so I will figure out how to make this process faster and more reliable. But for now, look how perfect that is. Great. Now all I have to do is round the edges of these corners. And that is the finished product. See how it's nice and round, perfect radius. I'm so excited. Let me take you over to the desk and I will show you what's in these pages and why I'm so excited about this notebook. Welcome to the Edgewater Reading Notes for whatever book you choose to study. Here's how this is going to work. When you get your notebook, you'll write the name of your book right here on the title page. And then when you open it up, you'll have a place to add your title, the author, the publication information, and most importantly, why you're reading the book. So take a moment to think about why this book is important to you. When you open it up, you'll see my stylized version of highlighting. A lot of people ask about this. And so what I've done is given you the color code for how I like to highlight books. Anything in blue is a primary argument. Anything in green is a secondary argument. Orange is a quote. Pink are sources in the book that I'd like to study more of. Yellow is something I disagree with on the author's point of view. Or if you want to use your own colors, you can do that here. Write in what you want each color to mean and then highlight it accordingly. I've given you some instructions here. It says use the colors to highlight your favorite passages when you read. In the notebook, reference that color and page number, then add a title and add your analysis. See below for an example. So as you're reading your book, you'll highlight it in the colors that are appropriate. And then when you're in the book notes section, which will look like this, all you'll do is you'll mark up in the top right-hand corner, there's a little square for you to do so, what color it is from the book. You'll give it a title. You'll write the passage here, or the page number, and then you'll add your analysis. Okay. Then there's a table of contents. So we've got several pages of book notes that will look like this for you so that you can analyze your book. And there are solid lines here for you to write out your own sort of table of contents. As you fill out your book notes, you're going to see themes emerge and you're going to see sections that you want to keep track of. So you could divide that up and just write your own table of contents here. Then starting on page 26 is a specific study guide, and then below that is open notes. So the book notes themselves look like this. When you open it up, again, as you're reading, if you find something in a book that, let's say, is a quote that you just absolutely love, as you're reading, you would highlight that in orange. And then you would come to your notebook here and you would put a little orange highlight in this square. Give your quote a title, tell what page it's on, and then add your analysis right here. And then below each of these pages, I've given you little tips for how to be a better reader. So this one, for example, says pause often to reflect on what you've just read. The next one down here says identify the book's strengths and weaknesses. Everything has a page number to it so you can find things easily. And we have several pages of book notes because you're going to need them as you're studying your books. Then we get into the study guide. And again, this is the general notebook. I will be creating notebooks like this for each of the books that I sell, for meditations and for, flowers for Algernon and so on. But for this general one, I've given you 12 sort of general questions to help you think deeply about your book. For example, question 1, what is the main argument of this book? And you'll go ahead and write that here. Question 2, how does the author support his or her argument? And so on. So there are 12 of these questions. The third one says, how does this book challenge your existing beliefs? Question 4, what are the holes in this author's argument? Question 5, what are the practical applications of this book? This is a really important question because I'm trying to get you to think about how to turn what you've read into life skills and apply them to your life. Question 6, what sources did the book rely on that merit further study on your part? Question 7, how would you describe this book to other people? Question 8, what was your favorite passage in the book and why? Question 9, what did you disagree with in the book and why? 10 says, if you were to read this book a second time, what would you focus on? This is an important question because we often read books differently the second time around. We know the hills and the valleys, and we know what to expect and what to look out for, and so you might want to focus on specific areas. Question 11, if you were the author, how would you have written the book differently? And finally, question 12, what's the most important lesson you discovered in this book? After that, you've got a few pages for open notes. And then the very back cover, there's a place for you to write the 5 major lessons you picked up from this book. So that when you're at your book, in your book room, your reading room, and you've got all of these stacked up on a shelf or however you decide to do it, when you pull one out and you see that this was for a specific book and you think, I don't remember what I learned from that book, you can always turn to the last page here and see your 5 major lessons and decide if this is something you want to read again or study further. All right, that is the general reading notes for Edgewater Bookstore. All right, everyone, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you are looking forward to these notebooks. I can't wait to get them out. As a reminder, Edgewater Bookstore opens October 23rd, 2024. I can't wait to see you there. And as always, remember to read slowly, take notes, and apply the ideas. I'll see you next time.